Hello everyone, today I will be bringing you guys to a game of Three Musketeers versus Blue Machinedramon. So this matchup in particular is not really the best, I would say, for the Machinedramon, but let's see how it goes. Right now we're preparing to start the game. Always gotta get those bricks out of the way, right? So sorry about the camera angle. It seems a little wonky right now because this is fairly new to me, so I do apologize. You can see there I'm trying to fix it myself as well. It does get better later on in different videos. This is actually a locals at Nowhere Games here in Miami, Florida. It gets pretty big on Wednesdays, I would say, like 15-20 players. So it's a pretty good turnout, I would say. So they are playing with mulligan rules here. Well, only if the players agree to playing that rule set. Me personally, I don't like playing with mulligans just because I like to play it out most of the time. And there are times where you do mulligan and you mulligan into an even worse hand, so you also throw away pieces that you could probably need later on in the game that go all the way to the bottom, so it's not ideal. So getting into the match here, there is a few mistakes here and there, particularly by the Machinedramon player, but you know, it's no harm done. It is a local, so I don't really mind. He played like the ultimate connection there for one cost when he had no black source. You know, that kind of stuff happens all the time. He hard drops an Animon and then he goes straight into an I go straight into an Eismon line. Play the analog to pass the turn, put him at 1. I do decide to grab the Skullmaramon here, try to see if I can set up for a full lineup. Because my particular list does run a bit of a spice with Machinedramon and Chaos Gallantmon. Looks like he is trying to search for his pieces on top of also milling out his deck. Looks like he got no targets, so in the end it's just a good filter, right? I decided to go ahead and swing Eismon. And here we realize that he didn't even set up his security. So I tell him it's fine, and he could just put the top 5 cards to his deck, to the security. I do hit its ultimate connection, and surprisingly enough, it's another misplay because ultimate connection only lets you trash a cyborg, not a machine. A little bit of a whiff there. It's kind of like a hammer spark, but not exactly. I do end up popping my Eismon, you know, grab the Gabu and Bialstar that I trashed earlier, and then I go through the whole cycle, draw 3, trash 2, and draw 2, trash 1, and then Demimera effect, draw 1, trash 1. Think here for the last trash, I think. I believe I do decide on a rookie. Yeah, it looks like I trashed the Amon because I'm trying to set up for my trash. He plays his own analog, he goes into 2-0. Search for more of his pieces, he does get the Chaosdramon. Such a good mega for Machinedramon. You get a full stack, go into Machinedramon, and then since you're playing the blue base, you go straight into Kaiserneo, and then you basically play the Machinedramon for 4, and then you gain back all the memory. It's really cool when it goes off, but a good amount of the time, it's a bit of a less inconsistent version, I would say, just because you do end up breaking quite a lot. So I go into another perfect Eismon line. It's pretty crazy when that happens again. And then I just decide to play Gazi. It's pretty rough for the Machinedramon player there to kill a Gazimon. because if they do decide to play Machinedramon, they would be hard playing it for the full 12 memory. I do swing into another ultimate connection, but he does get the draw, but he doesn't gain the memory because of the Gazi on board. That's another benefit to them. I go ahead and do another calling. Bring back the other Goblin and Scatter Mode that was already in trash. Put to hand. And then I go through my whole entire cycle again. I drew into 3 options there, so it was actually an amazing... actually, I drew into all options back to back, so it was actually really amazing there for me. I should have like around 6, 7 in there already. Yeah, it looks like I ended up actually having 8. I played it for 4. And I decide here to... I think I fly bullet the rookie, the machine rookie. He starts his turn and he goes straight into a memory boost. Sorry for a little bit of the glare. It's there's always a bit of lighting issue in the store when it goes to recording. So he goes straight into a Chaosdramon. He does add a source under and he pops the Gazi. So that's a good way to get rid of the Gazimon. Just go straight into Chaosdramon instead of trying to hard play into your Machinedramon and then do your whole combo. So I do a bit of thinking here. I think I do decide to I'll just play another Beowstar. And it's still a 4 cost. Chaosdramon doesn't have any sources, so I just fly bullet it just to get more board control and set up a wider board as well. At this point, now that I don't have Gazi, he is able to do his whole Machinedramon. So he plays it for 12 and then he gains back 5, so he puts me at 1. Really good stuff there for the Machinedramon player. I think I just decide to swing here. Or I do go into the Violon, yeah. And I just start him at 1. Because there isn't really anything that the Machinedramon can do to clear like a board like this. And even if he does kill the Violon, I do get my cycles anyway, so it's not a huge deal for me. So he does 2 checks, I believe. Yep. Hits into 2 rookies. Very unfortunate for me there. So he does play the rookie, trashes a machine or cyborg to draw 2 more cards. He passes me over with 2. So my Beowstar should be of 2 costs now, I think. Trying to Digivolve into a Songbird in the back. Trying to get more draws. And try to think carefully of my plays here. So I go into Beowstar for 2. I have 10 in trash. I decided to actually fly bullet the Machinedramon just to get rid of the sources. So he does keep the 2 blocker inheritables and the inheritable that pops like a play cost of 5, I think. And then I decide to Beowstar again just to get rid of more sources, just to continuously go and spread a wide board while also getting rid of a really powerful source like that. So here he decides to swing over one of the Beowstars just to get rid of another Digimon on board, and he gains the 2 memory from the analogs because I had a source under it. And then I think he does end up playing another Machinedramon here. Yes, so he hard places for 12, goes all the way, gives me 8 memory, he gains the 5, and then would go to 3, since he added 5 sources total. Now this next turn, it looks like this this should be game for me, but it does end up turning out into quite a clutch comeback for the Machinedramon player. I make the mistake of swinging the Soundbird first, not thinking about what we possibly have in security, and little did I know it was an Iron Fisted Onslaught, which wipes all of my BL stars on board. Not saying I would have had game exactly there, since I don't think I have another BL star in my hand currently. But I did have the Impmon in hand anyways, just to cycle her back. So all I had to really do was just swing with one of the BL stars first, then swing with Soundbird. I would have enough memory to play Impmon and then play another BL star, so I can just play a Nailbone and then play a promote from trash. Oh, it looks like I didn't even have the promote from the trash, because I think in this list I'm only running 1, so I would have still won regardless, because I could have just spun out the 2 Digimon there, level 4 and level 3, and then would have gone over the Viomon for 1 and swung with the promote anyways. But it is what it is, right? I mean, there's not much you can do about it. I still end up doing that anyways, and I swing the promote. The only problem is that Machinedramon still has a blocker. And then I think I just Digivolve into a Viomon here. Yeah, just give him over 2 so I can have a blocker. But again, my lack of experience in this matchup, regardless of it being a good one for me, he goes into a Chaosdramon, which actually ends up being a huge deal for him, because usually Chaosdramon just adds a source, but it also has the effect of every single level 5 source that it has under it does end up popping a I believe it's a level 5 or lower. No, it's a 6k DP or less. So luckily enough, my Viomon is exactly at 6k, so he does pop my blocker. He swings 2 checks, then he swings with the Hagurumon just to get my final security. And from there, I pretty much don't have any sort of way to come back from this. So if it wasn't for just that one mistake where I could have just swung with BL Star first and then swung with Soundbird, I still would have had the win there. But you know, things happen. Sometimes you're just bad, you know. It's the way of the game. It looks like I do have a second promote in this list. I know I keep mentioning this list like if I don't know the list anymore, and it is true only because I have changed my list so many times around. There's so many versions of my 3 Musketeers for this kind of format at this point. I've even tried to do blue base here. I've tested it out a little bit, but it's a little bit too slow for this kind of meta as well, even with a powerful color like blue, right? So we're just setting up for the next game here. So going into the next game here, I do end up playing a little bit smarter, just so I can get around, you know, those type of options like Iron Fisted Onslaught like earlier. I do end up going into the perfect line once again with the scatter mode. He just ends up passing memory with Izzy and Joe, such a good tamer. I get my full cycle, I end up trashing an option here, and I believe I do trash a Skolmera. Yep. Going to the second cycle, not the best draws for me, because I do want to filter out my deck. I end up just trashing a promote and a soundbird. Probably not the most best trash, I would say. Just because I probably could have trashed one of the Skullmaramons. You know, usually when you come to thinking of trashing cards from hand, you kind of want to look carefully as to what you have so you can set up for the next sort of turn, you know? Like, I had 2 Skullmaramons there, for example. I could have just trashed one of them. I didn't really... Well, I had 3, actually. I could have just trashed the second one, and I would have been fine instead of trashing rookies, where I possibly could have swarmed with a board later. So I do set up the Itmon back here, and I go into a Izemon in the front, just so I can get a full filter for my deck. He grabs the Gigadramon here, and he trashes the 2 other sideboards, which is the perfect thing you want to see when you go into an analog. Surprisingly enough, he digivolves into a Machinedramon for 3 here instead of hard playing it. Didn't want to give me 4 memories instead of 3, which honestly, you know, it ends up being in his favor. Only because I do end up going into a Chaos Gallon only because I didn't, even though I could have filtered a lot more, I didn't want to swing and have Machinedramon gain full value. So I just go into Chaos Gallant, pop my Itmon, and I pop his Machinedramon. I do wish I could play more Chaos Gallant, but in this kind of format it doesn't really allow it because it's way too slow. It always relies on having an opponent's body on board just so I can get full value. But sometimes popping your own Digimon will come up. Like if I had a different line and Izemon on the other side instead of the Itmon, I would have gotten a whole lot of deck cycle there. And honestly, just having Chaos Gallant on board in general is just a really strong aggressive tool. You just swing with Digimon, if they do end up dying, you just bring back another rookie. So honestly, it's overall a really powerful card. I played the hell out of it when it came out in BT7, you know. It was just a powerful tool. Everyone was so scared of Chaos Gallant that they had to start playing in the back line. And so Chaos Gallant wouldn't pop a level 5 for free. I go into defeat here so I can pop the Izzy and Joe. Don't want him to gain too much memory, especially with the All-Star that always likes to get wide board control. He goes into Machinedramon, he does pop the promote just to clear an extra body off board. But still having the defeat is still a powerful Digimon, so I swing, he's not going to block it because he would just lose his Machinedramon right out. Swing with Gabu just so I can get an extra cycle. Going to analog, I do grab the Itmon just because I do want to plan ahead for a BL Star later, even though I do have 3 of them in my hand currently. And I did just decide to part player here, even if it is a hefty cost. It is a play cost of 7 or 8. Yeah, it ends up being for 7. I do end up playing the Fly Bullet, or yeah, the Fly Bullet and Trash, just so I can kill the Machinedramon. He does tap the analogs and he goes straight to 10. Giving him that much memory is not that big of a deal in this sort of position, just because this sort of deck can't really deal with a board like this. So he just ends up going to Gigadramon. Doesn't seem like he has his Megas here. It's a bit of thinking. Personally, I think he could just go into, if he has it, he would have probably played it by now, go into another Machinedramon, gain back all that memory, and then set up another blocker. but unfortunately he didn't really have what he needed, so he just hard plays a Mechanori and a Metal Greymon, so I just swing with Defeat and then swing with Beastar for game. So going into game 3 here, we do end up getting set up for the next match, and I believe I do end up going first again. So I do Digivolve into Itmon, not the most ideal rookie to Digivolve into, but I do need to do that so I can go into scatter mode instead of hard playing it. He just plays as an Animon just so he can starve me at 1. Swing at security. I do hit into a funny little option called Tidal Wave. It does bring out 2 sources from a Digimon, but not the best timing for that to come out now, since he only had the Nanimon with no sources under it. And then I just hard drop the other scatter mode just so we can have a wider board. He does end up Digivolving into the Chaosdramon and trying to do his effect, but he is contemplating whether he wants to actually do it or not, because it is a you may effect, and if he does choose to do so and add the level 5, he does end up popping the 2 scatter modes on the board. In the end, he decides to not to do so in the end, just because he doesn't want to get the full filter going off for the scatter modes. Honestly, you should always try and kill a really wide board no matter what, just so they don't start swinging your security for free. I do go into the Soundbird and back just so I can set up for the next play, and look at that, they ended up dying anyways, so I wasn't too bad on the Machinedramon player's part. I'm pretty lucky there, I would say. And I ended up playing a Calling just so I can get Scatter and an Imbalm back from trash. The Calling does have the effect where it has a 2-part effect, so you can delete your Digimon and it ends with a period, and it says then you can add up to 2 Digimon cards from your trash to your hand, 2 purple Digimon. So you don't actually need a Digimon on the board to actually get the 2 sources. He does swing Chaosdramon, he hits into an analog. Do end up getting the Beastar to my hand, of course. And he does play the Machinedramon for the full 12, once again forgetting that Gazzy's on board, so he does end up going through with it regardless, just so he can have 2 bodies on board on top of having 2 blockers. He does block him immediately with the scatter mode, with the Machinedramon for the scatter mode. Unfortunately for him, he did give me a lot of memory, so I am able to completely go off here. I have 9 in trash, so I'm able to play Beastar for 3 cost. I do end up playing a Nailbone, going to promote, and I believe I play another Soundbird. Yeah. So I assume with the promote, since it has rush, promote does die, which is amazing for my sort of situation. So I end up playing another Beastar for 3, go to 2, play another promote swing. Unfortunately, it doesn't gain the memory because of my Gazzy, and then I swing with the Gazzy I was already on board for game. So, quite a lot of misplays here and there from both of our sides. In the end of the day, it is what it is. With certain plays here and there and certain effects. And again, I'm sorry for this sort of camera angle, but I promise the next few videos will end up getting better. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.